Yikes, this new Resident Evil movie looks like the embodiment of the Wish.com equivalent of the original Resident Evil movie series starring Mila Jovovich, which, I think if we're all being fair, they were fine action films for what they were. Mila, I thought, played well. How many did they have? 1, 2, 3, 6? I think 5 or 6. Starring people like Mila Jovovich and Michelle Rodriguez and a wide variety of other people. It never really felt, especially near the end, that these were like necessarily ripped from the video games, but they were at least decent in a world where video game movies have always been an abomination. But now we've gone back to that trend. Even as I think Free Guy was a pretty good quote-unquote video game movie, although it wasn't really specifically based on anything, but it was also heavily pulling from games like Fortnite and things like that. We have a brand new look at Raccoon City, the new Sony, apparently ultra-low budget film reboot, live-action Resident Evil. And the internet has been mocking it hilariously. Now, as always, I will point out, it's not these actors' faults that they got cast, and they very well may do a fine job, but this isn't exactly what I expected from Jill Valentine. I feel like Hollywood just is really, I don't care, here's a clip for all the haters, but it feels like Hollywood is really working hard to cast average-looking women in roles, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I mean, we go from, Mila's character starring in Resident Evil, who is just like a beautiful woman and portrayed as tough, an action star, to somebody that looks like a Midwestern mom who's late for a PTA meeting. Welcome to Raccoon City. Here's your exclusive first look at Claire Redfield, Leon Kennedy, and Jill Valentine, and more in the new Resident Evil movie. So here we have right here, behold, the big screen's new Claire and Chris Redfield, Leon Kennedy, Jill Valentine, Albert Wesker, and more. So we have some exclusive images, although this movie, they say, has nothing to do with the previous franchise. I mean, I don't know. You have Claire Redfield, sorry, not Jill Valentine here, in the black jeans and the red top. And then you have Leon here. And if you look, here's Charles Kahn. Hola, mi amigos. It's my first day here fighting zombies. Oh, they look the same for sure. Please stop this nonsense. Someone, and you see the meme here, of course. They don't look anything like that. I do, to be reasonable, I don't think that characters in video game movies absolutely have to look exactly like the original, but I do think an effort should be made bigger than just, oh, she's wearing a red jacket, therefore it's the same. It looks very different, and obviously Leon looks very, very different. You see, Claire looks all right. Just have Leon shave and it'll make me feel better. Yeah, the clean shaven might help. You see, Claire looks terrible. This is the reason why these movie producers keep messing up, because y'all be like, it's cool and it's not so bad. Then they go cheap, like, F it, let's keep going. It's perfect. Just ridiculous with the, quote, replacements already. Has there been anything decent in film or TV that stemmed from producers playing identity politics? Can't name one. You see the entire replies. The choice for Leon is garbage. This is made by the same studios that made Slenderman 2018. I'll allow you to draw your own conclusions from here. All of the top repliers, cosplayers still win. Yes, they say cosplayers can't act, but, based on a lot of the people that they've put into a lot of these movies, I wouldn't necessarily say that they're hiring the best actors and actresses either. You could see, I can't believe they succeeded to make me think Johan Erb was a better physical portrayer for Leon Kennedy. The guy looks far more like Luis Serra than Leon. I mean, okay, they want to be inclusive. Well, why not use Carlos Oliveira instead of Leon? Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty BA to me. Every character besides Chris looks extremely wrong. Funny considering that the former movie series got almost every character down to the teeth besides Chris. They just inverted it. Hope they at least have inverted it to be a true to the actual story. But unfortunately for you, my friend, it is not true to the original story. It's just Resident Evil in name only. And they've said so much, said as much here. Here you have from left to right. You've got Wesker. You've got Jill Valentine here. Meh. And Chris Redfield. Chris is okay. I don't think that it's fair to look down on video game fans of the franchise, the video game franchise, when they come out and say, hey, we want your money, right? They've clearly said they want our money because they've called it Resident Evil. So if you wanted to make a generic zombie franchise, by the way, am I the only one that's completely over zombie stuff? I mean, we just had so much of it. It was like, oh, it's another zombie movie. Everybody wants another zombie movie. And it's so much that, yes, there were probably, they're already redoing that South Korean movie because they want more zombie movies. It's insane. I'm over them. The best ones were all the 28 Days series anyway. But anyway, this movie has nothing to do with the previous franchise. This was all about returning to the games and creating a movie that was much a horror movie than a sort of sci-fi action in the previous films. I was hugely influenced in particular by the remake of the second game, and I wanted to capture the atmosphere-drenched tone that it had. It was so cinematic. The previous movies were very bright and shiny, whereas this movie was dark and grimly entirely shot at night. It's constantly raining and the town is shrouded in mist. I was hugely influenced by movies like The Exorcist and The Exorcist 3, Don't Look Now, and The Shining. You can feel a texture in this movie. Nothing in this town feels high-tech. It feels dilapidated. I want Raccoon City to feel a bit like the town in Deer Hunter, a ghost town forgotten by the world, and the whole structure of the film was definitely very influenced by Assault on Precinct 13. You're saying all the right things. You're saying that you want to, that this is a return to video game lore. But we all know it won't be. We know it won't be. Our first exclusive image reveals the first look at Kaya Scolodario. Excuse me. It's probably not right. As Claire Redfield and Yvonne Georgia as Leon Kennedy. You'll notice Leon is wearing his police uniform in keeping with what his job was at the time in the Raccoon City destruction incident. In Resident Evil 2, Leon and Claire Redfield, sister of stars, Officer Chris Redfield, played in the film by the Arrowverse's Robbie Amell, were among the few people who ventured into Raccoon City following the outbreak. They eventually crossed paths, and Raccoon City Police Chief Brian Irons, played by this film's Gotham's Donnell Logue. Why are all these actors nobodies? I don't get it. If we look at the quote tweets, this looks like cosplay. It doesn't look that bad. Leon definitely looks better than he did in the original movies. Yeah, that's true. Looks like garbage. And what the F is this? It looks like a prawn for Resident Evil 2. Another day, another absolutely miscast anime video game adaptation. One franchise after another. Trash. That's not Leon Kennedy. Get out of here with that ish. None of them look the part. Lol. Effing doomed already. That's from the Critical Drinker. This looks terrible, and they've shown like 3 images. Hollywood hates Japan and Asia just as much as they do gingers, and yet you can't convince me otherwise. Extremely low budget. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Excuse me. Welcome to Raccoon City. Looks like it's going to be terrible, and I just don't understand it. Here, Weaponized Narration. My expectations were low, and I'm still disappointed. I don't know why. I keep expecting them. Again, this is just like the saying about Cowboy Bebop. They aren't making this for us. They're not making this for fans of the original video game franchise who want to see that come to life on screen. They're making it for normies who used to make fun of people who played video games, and they're just going to slap Resident Evil on there because they know people will still go see it anyway. Stop supporting garbage like this. It looks terrible. They didn't bother to pay any respect to the original, at least how it looks. Maybe I'll be surprised. You let me know in the comment section down below, but it's not looking good. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.